Yorkshire, Don Topley, Jonathan Doidge and Glenn Speller here, bringing you ball-by-ball coverage of this Division 1 game. The umpires, Tim Robinson, formerly of Nottinghamshire, Rob Bailey, formerly of Northamptonshire and Derbyshire, both represented England with distinction of putting the bails on the stumps, on the wickets, and quickly followed by Yorkshire, led out by Patterson. Essex at 138 for 2 at tea, with Sir Alistair Cook on 62 and Paul Walter on 43. Glenn Speller's with us. He's going to be doing an update any moment on BBC Essex for the parish. Not got anything feedback at the moment to suggest that the studio's ready for a wonderful o'clock update. Waiting to hear, because Essex were 0 for 1. Loss of Nick Brown early this morning, third ball, 56 for 2. And then have put on a great partnership for the third wicket, where Waters 43, Sir Alistair Cook 62. And it's been Essex's afternoon session. We're blessed with beautiful sunshine here at Chelmsford, and it is warm in the commentator's box. They're suggesting it was about 16 degrees. I can tell you it's a lot warmer than that in this box. And it's going to be Revis to continue. And Glenn's going to do the update, and he'll start with a bit of commentary.
Yeah, so Revis starting from this river end. We'll update BBC Essex listeners in a couple of moments' time. 138 for 2, so 75 runs added in that session by Essex for the loss of no wickets. And the one opportunity offered by Paul Walter dropped. A caught and bowled effort did the Yorkshire captain Stephen Patterson. So we've got 30 overs remaining in the day, and here goes Revis. 2 slips in for Walter, and Walter off the back foot forces between extra cover and cover and comes through for a single. 139 for 2, and Walter's just gone about the way he goes about things every innings. You wouldn't know whether the pitch was a belter or whether the pitch was really tough to bat on whenever Paul Walter is playing, because he's just goes about things in his own quiet way. One lovely shot where he did just come down the wicket to Dom Bess in the previous session and hit him for 4 over mid-on. Revis is in and bowling to Cook, and Cook just plays defensively back to the bowler, who stretches low down to his right hand side and claims the ball on the bounce, and there is no run in the 67th over of the day. It's been warm and bright sunshine for much of it. There was a little bit of cloud dotted about this morning, and the breeze was quite strong this morning, but you look at the flags, the Yorkshire White Rose and the Essex one as well, they're very limp at the moment as Revis comes in. Just going to update BBC Essex listeners. Yes, and we're in the first over after tea here, and Essex have moved on to 139 for 2. They added 75 runs in the afternoon session for the loss of no wickets. The only chance offered, that of Paul Walter, who was dropped by the Yorkshire captain Stephen Patterson, a caught and bowled opportunity that he would on any other day have expected to have taken. Sir Alistair Cook is still there unbeaten on 62. Paul Walter backing up his 93 against Northamptonshire last time out. He's on 44, and Essex in the first over after tea are 140 for 2.
And commentary continues with Glenn.
Thank you, Glenn. Revis from the river stand end. Normally you expect a little bit more bounce from the river end, slightly up the hill. Rob Bailey is standing at that end. This is driven in the gap. It goes through between mid-off and cover, and Paul Walter collects 4. That was a beautifully caressed shot for 4. He moves to 48, 144 for 2 now. And we welcome back Jonathan Doidge. Oh, you're not on. Sorry, sir. That's my mistake. Welcome back, sir.
that very much like. Yeah.
It's going to be Revis on his way in. This is pulled short, and it's going to go for one. Are they going to look for two? They should be able to collect two. Water collects two. Essex collect two. 146 for two. And the applause is for Paul Waters' second consecutive half century. He got 93 last week. Great effort, and he's on 50 not out, and he just casually raises his bat to the Chelmsford faithful and says thank you, and it's the end of the over. 146 for two.
Yeah, played well, hasn't he? Gave a chance, and he dropped on 12 off his own bowling by Stephen Patterson, and he's making Yorkshire pay for that. But played a lot of controlled shots as well, angled his bat and got runs away down through third man on quite a few occasions. He's found that as a useful out shot, ease any pressure. Several twos through that area. So change of ends here for Dom Bess. We saw Joe Root twirling from the Hayes close end before tee, but it's going to be the man who, well, still wants to play Test cricket and has had a fair sniff of that already, Dom Bess. He's going to continue. He's already, before we get going in this session, speaking to umpire Tim Robinson about the condition of the ball. He's got his sunglasses on, and having backed off, just two penneth in the umpire's ear, a little bit of pressure applied from the bowler. He's just bowled a couple of practice deliveries at Joe Root. Meanwhile, Walter has waited throughout that period, set and ready to play this first delivery of the over now, coming from Bess, which is straight. It's not Walter, it's Cook, who's told us twice I've got them the wrong way around. It's Alistair Cook who plays it back to Bess. Got the sound of Queen in our ears.
We have, haven't we? Not the Queen, but hopefully that will be turned off any moment now, with a bit of luck. Or are you enjoying Queen?
A hammer to fall. Bess to Cook. The axe doesn't fall on his innings at this moment. That's pushed back to the bowler. We've got a short leg of slip. Man in a backward point position, cover, short extra cover, catching, mid on, mid off, shortish, straight mid wicket, and then a backward square leg. Bess bowling to Cook again. He pats it back to the bowler once more. Sun back out, in fact, probably as fewer clouds overhead as we've seen all day at the moment.
You can say it's warm.
It's warm. Bess into Cook, who drives out into the offside and root fields. It's absolutely boiling. It's roasting.
It's wonderful.
Cracking flags.
Oh, you need sun cream. Seriously. I'll bring some in the morning.
I've got some in the bag next to me, actually. Root in and Cook pushes up to mid-off, no run. You don't tend to need it in the com box here, but you never know. It's always nice to bit of slip, slap, slop, as they said down under when they used to advertise it.
It's actually interesting.
20 minutes off.
You talk about having a screen. It's behind you. It's behind you, the screen, you know.
Oh no, it isn't. Here's Bess, and Cook pushes back up the pitch to the bowler.
Look to your right.
146 for two.
That's it.
Oh, that, yeah.
But listen, what we need is
that's about as much use as a chocolate fire guard at the moment.
Yes,
Toppers.
We need. Let me have a word with them. But I know friends in high places. I don't know how many, but what I could suggest is that, you know, those verandas that slink down. Those little verandas that material brand. We could do one out there that just goes out best part of 2 foot. If it went out 2 foot, we're fine. We'll be covered. But in this front row, often the machines go down, and I'm wondering if you've noticed we've not got any feed now from the cameras. So I think that has become too hot.
I can't see anything
This
through these
thing
double
here.
panes of glass.
Yeah.
No.
So I think that's our problem, is a lot of the machinery doesn't work when it gets too hot. So we're going to see Revis walking slowly back to his mark. Best part of 17, 18 walking paces, 77 on his back, runs away from us, past umpire Bailey, to the left-handed Walter. Walter pulls it. It's a genuine bouncer. Not a great pace, but they take a single, 2 men back. It was, not a bad bouncer, but well executed by Walter. 1 run, 148 for 2.
Yeah, it's very placid, isn't it, by the looks of it?
Gosh, it is a slow wicket.
Another one. So taking wickets is going to be hard work.
I do think Yorkshire before tea had a little bit of reverse swing going. Just a little bit. Revis in, short of a length this time. Cook plays with a straight bat off the back foot, back down the wicket for no run.
It's amazing, isn't it, that he still wants to play it at this level after all he's achieved in cricket. How many, is this his 3rd season since 4th season?
3rd or 4th, yeah. Revis is in, again, tucked up. Cook looking to play off his hips there, but just kept playing straight. No run.
There's so much said about professional sports people being interested in nothing but the dosh and all of that, and then you see somebody like him coming back from captain in England and playing 3 or 4 seasons and possibly more in county cricket, and that says to me love of the game.
Yep, love of batting, definitely. Cook waiting, gets across his setup and allows to watch it through to the keeper. Not interested in playing that line. No, he's a model professional, and he keeps, and I don't mean this in any other way apart from a credit. His way of life is it's pretty simple, and it's so effective, and it's so rewarding for someone like him. It's great for youngsters to watch him. Bouncer, outside off stump, through to the keeper. No chance of a dismissal, just leaves it alone. Plays with high hands. End of the over, 147 for 2. Is he somebody you've looked up to? You obviously had the if I asked you going back a few years, I don't know your age. Would you have been influenced by Sir Geoffrey Boycott?
As a child, yeah. You think about playing cricket in the street or in the drive, 2 brothers, and you've got your scorecard, and you, like we all, lots of us did, you're pretending to be, you want to be so-and-so, you've got so-and-so on your team. And yeah, he was always on the team sheet.
Was he?
Yeah.
Other Yorkshire cricketers tender age?
I'm trying to think back now. I'd have to think about that. Here's Bess to Walter, uses a feet and drives into the offside Rootwell field though, and there's no run. It was more of an international. We'd have IVA Richards.
Yeah.
We used to put down M Lal for Madden Lal. Capel Dev would be playing. Richard Hadley. There's those sort of greats, I suppose, of that era.
You had an email this morning about cricketing knights who were knighted and still playing. Was it this morning?
Yes. As Bess is in and bowling to Walter, pushes again to Root, no run.
The first one I could think of was Sir Richard Hadley. He was still playing as Sir Richard Hadley. Sir Alistair Cook. Did anyone else contribute in?
Not that I can recall.
There won't be a long list.
No. Here is Bess, and that's driven up to mid-off once again to Root, no run. Yeah, David Bairstow would have made it onto the team sheet quite a lot.
I mentioned him this morning. I had huge respect for Bluey Bairstow, who was noisy behind the stumps, but I always got on so well with him.
RGD Willis, he was on there. Here is Bess once again, and that's pushed into the offside by Cook, no run.
I'm still very friendly with Kevin Sharp. That particular team, yeah, very much so.
Big Leeds fan, Sharp. There'll be a few nerves around at the moment.
Yeah.
Around the wicket comes Bess once again, and a pleasing looking drive, but no further once again than Root. That's 4 times this over that he's fielded the ball, which tells you something about the line that Don Bess is bowling here. 4 drives up to mid-off. And in comes Bess once again. And once more, this time Walter just pushing back to the bowler. Really good over from Bess. It didn't find an edge, didn't get his way through, but at the same time, he's just keeping the batsman honest. He's a thinking cricketer, and he's just keeping Yorkshire just in with that little sniff of a wicket here, waiting for the batsman to make a mistake from his bowling.
Yeah, bowled well all day. He's been cut 2, maybe 3 times. How many overs has he bowled now? Best, there he is. 17 overs for 18, eh? That's economical, but I think he's bowled well. He's been the pick of your bowlers. Brevis comes in and he bowls, and this goes down. A little bit leg stumpish, gone down to fine leg, where Sir Alistair Cook just collects another single quietly. 65, Walter 51, so Walter's catching Sir Alistair Cook up. Score 148 for 2. Only 10 overs, or less than that now, to the new ball. That's quite key. So Bess is probably going to continue for another 4 or 5. Revis, bouncer, that was misdirected, was a genuine bouncer. Will it be signalled a no ball? It's 1 for the over, but on his follow through he's put that much effort into the short ball that he's actually, the wheels have fallen off and he's fallen foul straight onto the wicket. He's landed flat, head first.
Yeah, fair bit of pace about it as well, wasn't there? Really did put in the effort there.
He did, very short. He almost got bruised toes. Walter waiting, bat aloft, driven back down the ground, slightly, not mistimed it, but it just slightly pushed in the air a little bit, where there is no run.
Yeah, if he'd have gone just ever so slightly harder at that, could have been a catch in his follow through for Revis.
Which I think goes back to the thing that you said about the lack of pace in the wicket. That's, of course, we've seen a couple of lads be fielding on short mid wicket on the drive. Oh, playing a miss. Outside off stump. Well bowled.
Yeah, there's something about Matthew Revis's body language today. He wasn't happy with himself at the Hayes close end earlier. Not so much in this over, but in an over or 2 before this one from this end, he's also just given off a sign or 2 that he's not entirely enamoured with life at the moment. But he does still bowl the odd ball that looks like it could be a wicket-taking delivery, and that last one was a case in point.
In this time, short pulled out to the man at deep backward square along the grass, so just 1 run to Walter. Essex moved to 150. Is it 149? We look at the scoreboard. 149 for 2.
Just going to have to drop the mic for a moment to do a quick update.
Not a problem. I will commentate and give us an update on some of the scores around the Shires. This time, leg stumpish, clipped into the leg side by Cook. Revis doesn't concede a single, but that's the end of the 71st over. Essex on 149 for 2. Elsewhere around the country, Hampshire are 212 for 2. Warwickshire are 175 for 4. Surrey are 154 for 4 at the Oval. Glamorgan are Leicestershire are 168 for 2. Sussex at Hove are 246 for 2. And Durham are 209 for 2. So some similar scores around. Some are a slightly slower pace than others. Essex are not alone. Surrey are 154 for 4 there. Elsewhere, I'm just looking, the quickest are Sussex, 246 for 2. This is going to be best from the Hayes close end, bowls to Paul Walter. Walter comes forward, plays it into the leg side. Best does the fielding, no run. 7-8 overs to the new ball. Slip and a bat pad on the leg side. Crouching over his bat aloft now for water. Bess is in, bowls. Again, great forward defensive, full of control, just allows the ball to hit the bat. No run. Setting his stall out, 93, his career best highest last week against Northamptonshire for Paul Water. He's on 52 now. Bess in again, bowls down the ground and he collects 4. He was going aerial, I do believe, and just dragged it slightly. Nothing wrong with that. Perhaps he just mistimed it, but he collects 4. A lot of power behind that willow then from Paul Water. 4 more runs. A gentle applause for Essex with their 150. They move to 153 for 2.
Yep, nicely played. Bess, as bowlers do, will feel a little bit aggrieved that the ball was aerial but didn't go to hand. I think Yorkshire maybe just missing out on maybe a little bit of luck. He's still not happy with the ball, Don Bett. He's just tossed it back to umpire Tim Robinson, who's making his own inspection thereof. And he might be turning now to, he's calling Rob Bailey over.
Maybe the quarter seam or the seam, there's an issue with it, or the shape. The 2 batsmen, Rob Bailey, Northamptonshire and Derbyshire, are chatting. Tim Robinson, formerly an opening batsman of Nottingham, both had distinguished careers with England. Well, Robinson is now running off to look at the balls. He's got to find a ball that's really 72 overs old. It's only got to last another 8 overs, but if it could swing or reverse swing or do something, Yorkshire will be most appreciative, because they are definitely in need of a wicket.
Yeah, in fact, Malcolm Palmer's emailed in saying just that, we could do with a wicket or 2. We don't seem to have a lot of luck at the moment. Nothing going to hand, nothing finding the edge. But I thought that way, watching Real Madrid last night until the 90th minute, then wow.
Yeah.
Come on, Yorkshire, he says.
Yep. It was I only watched the extra time in the last 5 minutes last night of that game. So yes, it was very exciting, as was the snooker the other night.
What was the final score in the snooker, actually? Didn't see the final.
Was it the lad Judd lost?
That was the result, but what do you know?
I can't tell you. Glenn would tell us the actual final score in the snooker the other night.
18-13.
8-C, he knows. He was up all night. Eh? He would have been. Eh?
So change of ball.
You're not losing anything here, ladies and gentlemen. No balls missed. They're just waiting for the umpire to get back. Bess is ready. Jonathan Doidge is ready. Bated breath. He's going to get himself a wicket.
Just a couple of warm-up exercises. Pull the muscle, and here comes Bess round the wicket, then past Robinson, bowling to Walter, who drops that into the leg side, no run. If Don Bett is any happier with this, I'm sure he will be if they end up getting a wicket with it. In the non too distant, here he comes from the Hayes close end, and that's into the legs of Walter, who drops it just behind square leg. There is a man under the helmet, Harry Brook, I believe, at short leg. Was the man who fielded.
We see a lot more ball changes these days, don't we, in modern day cricket?
Yeah, loads more. 2 today. We've seen them already elsewhere this season as Walter drives up to mid-off, where Root does the fielding, and that is that for
I have
over.
a theory.
153 for 2.
Would you like to hear my theory?
Yeah,
Years ago, they used to make lots of cricket balls, handmade obviously, all the various companies. And we know the various companies, some in Kent, some in elsewhere around the country. But there were 3 famous manufacturers, and then we limited the amount of competitions we used, so we used those particular balls. And I over the years, years ago, we used to have stocks of balls that were made. It's going to be Revis outside off stump through to the keeper, well wide of the stumps, left alone. Today, with the economics of ball making, you know, these are very expensive items today. They're the best part of 60, 70 quid a go or more. In the professional game, even club balls are quite expensive. But I just don't think we keep the stock, so they don't mature. So we use them, we make them and use them. And I'm wondering if that doesn't help us this time. Bit of bounce with maybe the change of ball, just carries a little nicer from Revis through to the keeper, dot ball. So I'm wondering whether they're not kept in the stock like they used to be back in my day. They're actually made, sent out and used. So I'm wondering if the balls don't technically, I'm going to use the word gingerly, but they don't mature perhaps like they once did on the stock, on the shelves. Revis in, this is cut square of the wicket. There's a man out at the pavilion boundary where they just take the single. Kunaratney fields, throws back nicely. 1 run to Cook, 1 run to Essex, 153 for 2.
So essentially comparing the red leather with a fine red wine.
Well, very good, good. Yeah, happy with that. Very good, like that. As Revis away from us bowls, hit back short ball. This is going to run away, probably for 4 leg byes. I think it's gone fine, and it is signalled 4 runs. So there was something on it, be it a thin, wafer thin bit of bat, or indeed a glove. But 4 runs, and that brings a 100-run partnership up for this third Essex wicket. 0 for 1. Then it was 56 for 2, and it's now 158 for 2. Revis on his way in. Walter's facing Walter. Plays with a dead bat. Plays it into the offside. No run. Yeah, so that's the only thing I can think of. Are the balls inferior? No. Are the balls going to be made differently? No. I don't think the rubber or the cork has changed, or anything inside of the ball. Has the stitching may have changed over the years, because you have some that years ago were tighter, then they loosen them a little bit, the seam. Revis is in, it's short, it's Paul, that's going to run away. Will it go for 1, 2? They're well fielded at fine leg, and they just take the single. 159 for 2. So that's the only thing I can think of, is they make them to order, ship them out, or make them ship rid of them, and then they are used, and they don't mature on a shelf or in an office for that long.
It's definitely a theory. Yeah,
it's the best I can offer.
Theory. We're going to see some more of Don Bess at the Hayes Close end. Quick roundup of scores. I'm going to do this over and then I'm going to duck out again to do another Radio Leeds update at 4:33. Best bowling here to Walter. Meanwhile, at Old Trafford, Warwickshire won the toss, chose to bat 183 for 4 after 68. Up there in Manchester, Best to Walter, pushing to Root mid-off, no run. At Southampton, Hampshire won the toss and have batted, and they've made a good fist of it so far. They're playing Gloucestershire. They're 213 for 8 in the 65th. Down the road at the Oval, Northants won the toss, put Surrey in, and the home side 156 for the loss of 4. So probably about even Steven there, as Bess is driven firmly back to him by Walter, and there's no run. At Cardiff, Glamorgan decided to put Leicestershire in on winning the toss and have them 171 for 3 in Division 2 there. Best bowling to Walter, who's pushing back to the bowler once again. At Hove, also Division 2, Sussex won the toss and are batting against Middlesex, and 259 for 3, says that's a pretty good day so far for them. At Worcester, Durham 222 for 3, having won the toss and chose to bat against Worcestershire. That's your roundup from elsewhere, as Walter down the pitch using his feet nicely here, smashes the ball back over Bess's head, 1 bounce, and out over the boundary boards at the Hayes Close end of the ground. That takes the batsman to parity at 65 apiece and 163 for 2. the home side, and with that Bess has dispatched Joe Root out to long off and on the boundary. Bess coming in again. Walter steps back and cuts. Revis at point does the fielding. So Yorkshire made to work hard here. Bess hasn't conceded many so far. 26 in his 19th over, including that boundary. Excellent stuff from him today. Has the 1 wicket to his name. And up there to drive and flicked into the leg side, where Karunaratne fields off the final ball of that over. 74 of them now bowled, 22 as a minimum remaining in the day, and just shy of 4:30, 163 for 2.
Thank you, Jonathan. He's going to speak to his parish, or parishes, as in his role and responsibility. Lovely evening sunshine, no wind whatsoever. Really quite warm here at Chelmsford. I have to say, I think it's touching 20, if not a bit more. As you've just heard, George Hill is going to go up the hill at Chelmsford from the river end. Start of a new spell. It's going to come around the wicket to Sir Alistair Cook. 75 overs, so he's got a few more to bowl with this old ball before they take the new ball. Root and Patterson, 2 experienced cricketers at mid-on, mid-off, adjacent to this young bowler. And he's up and running. He's away from us. He's at the crease, bowls outside off stump, just angled, probably reverse swing, just slightly going away to Sir Alistair Cook, who is watchful with his first ball, his last ball, or any other ball. He allows it to go through to the keeper. No run. There's a few in the committee room today, along with the Boundary Club adjacent in the first floor of the executive suite. This time it's pulled by Sir Alistair Cook, who will collect 4. It's just short, just a drag down ball, not an intended short ball, just happened to drag it down. Cook was onto it like a flash, picked up the length and has hit it towards the old hospital side for 4. 4 more to Cook. Essex moved to 167 for 2. Meat and drink, I'm afraid that. Just dragged it down as bowlers occasionally do. Not intended. This one will be pitched up a bit more. Yeah, pitched up through to the keeper. No run. Slow wicket here at Chelmsford. Really is for me it's the 3rd consecutive slowish wicket. We've seen some of the fielding positions imposed today by Yorkshire. Had a man on the drive quite often against spinners and seamers, where they're trying to get players to drive the ball in the air. This time it's flipped into the leg side by Sir Alistair Cook, who finds mid-wicket. There is no run. Not many clouds about now. Nice hazy warm sunshine. You would enjoy an ice cream in this weather. Don't need coffee. Bovril, cup of soup. This time Cook comes forward, immaculate forward defence, into the offside, stopped by extra cover, who does it with his feet, tries to clip it up into the air, but it rolls back down. He has to pick it up, passes it to mid-off Root. Root passes it to the bowler. Bowler's shining it up. He's on his way in. This is driven. It's an outside edge. It's gone along the floor. It's gone for 1, 2. Adam Lythe, haven't seen him in the field much. He goes to retrieve the ball all the way to 3rd man. 2 more runs for Sir Alistair Cook. He moves to 71. And the score, 169 for 2. That's the end of the 75th over here on BBC Essex, BBC Radio Leeds and other Yorkshire stations, and we were delighted to bring coverage to 5 Live Sports Extra earlier in the day. And we still continue to enjoy your interaction, be it on Twitter, email. Twitter is BBC Essex Sport, at Toppers Senior, at Jonathan Doidge, or the email address please is bbcsexcricket@gmail.com. Bess in bold, and this is played out into the offside, where Jordan Thompson does the fielding at sort of short extra cover. No run. Bess in again from around the wicket to Walter. Walter plays into the leg side. That's going to be one simple run down to short fine leg on the 45, where there is a single taken. One more run. Milan can't stop that. 169, or is that 170? 170 as the scoreboard ticks over for 2. 2 men out. Nick Brown caught heel, bowled Thompson for naught, third ball of the game, and Wesley was caught behind off the bowling of Bess for 24, 56 for 2, now 170 for 2. Bess bowls, clipped into the leg side, it parries off the short square leg, catching under the lid, but no chance of a dismissal, but there is no chance of a run. Slip live, waiting quietly. This time Cook shovels it into the leg side. There is no run. Sensible play, not turning much, so he can afford just to close the face a fraction, not a lot, but just a fraction. He is in control of that shot when he plays against the spin. Bess bowls again, this time a little straighter. It's hit back to mid-on for no run.
Okay, thanks. We all have friends like this, Rima, who, they're all over you like a rash when they see you every now and again, and then out of sight, out of mind.
As Bess comes in, he bowls, pitched up, driven into the leg side, mistimed slightly by Sir Alistair Cook, where there is no run. End of the over, 170 for 2. And again, we're very pleased to receive any of your correspondence. Email is at bbcsexcricket@gmail.com, and the Twitter is at BBC Essex Sport, or at Toppers Senior, or at Jonathan Doidge. Anything Yorkshire, anything Essex, anything cricket, we'll be delighted to hear from you to discuss different things. Sport, is it schools cricket, club cricket, or anything. So, Revis, one slip and a man on the drive on the leg side. He's in, bowls, outside off stump through to the keeper. It's going to be a very quiet session until 80 overs, and then they're going to unleash the new ball, where they try and get a couple of wickets. All very quiet here at Chelmsford at the moment. Revis in, it's nice and straight. There's a slight appeal from Harry Duke, but not really a genuine appeal. Walter tries to play off his legs, misses it, and it goes through and hits him on the pad. No run. How many times has Joe Root watched Sir Alistair Cook knock up runs? Well bowled, Revis. Revis bowls a decent ball, played into the leg side, where I think the fielder is Jordan Thompson, stops the single.
I keep expecting to speak to you on a Friday and then you're never there. So,
and Revis is on a learning campaign here. Sorry, it's Hill, not Revis. Hill is on a learning campaign here, bowling at some very fine players, and in particular Sir Alistair Cook. Walter clips him off his leg down to fine leg for a single. He'll move to 67, score 171 for 2. This is a natural bit of cricket when you're building up to take the new ball, and it's just a quiet few overs. The spinner's happy to bowl, seamers are happy to bowl. Just don't give them too many runs. Just make sure it's all nice and quiet and calm. Good looking shot there from Cook, who plays nice straight bat all the way up to mid-off for no run. So 171 for 2. In he comes. Hill plays into the leg side, does Cook, takes a quick single. Smart cricket. There's a good bit of fielding from Yorkshire. I think he would have been in, but Sir Alistair Cook was, well, it was a good call, and Paul Walter went, and Essex made another single. 172 for 2. Jonathan Doidge is off to powder his nose, and we'll bring in Glenn Speller, who's had quite a busy day. The sun's gone behind one of the few clouds about at the moment. Cook bat down, facing Bess. Bess bowls, played into the leg side, there is no run. Afternoon, Glenn.
Hello, Don. Well, it feels like it's a bit of a holding position at the moment. Can Walter and Cook go on and continue to accumulate and get to 3 figures, or can Yorkshire break this partnership?
All will be revealed with a second new ball. I think down the leg side, Cook misses out, but keeper Duke catches the ball and takes it back to the stump and has a very fine piece of wicket keeping, but alas, Cook hadn't left his crease. In comes Bess, round the wicket yet again. Driven up the ground to Long On, where Long On has to move to his left. He's a right-handed fielder, so Cook spots that and takes a single. Good cricket from Essex, 173 for 2.
So I'm just sending the club a picture of our screen, which is currently blank as there's no video signal. I thought it was a touch screen, but it's not, so I don't know how to get back into it.
I think it's overheated. This time, this is driven into square leg where there isn't a single.
It's not that warm. Because the old adage would have been, have you tried a system reset, e.g. turning it off and turning it back on again? The answer to that is yes.
Well, our other scoreboard digital isn't working either. Bess bowls a little quicker ball. This is an inside edge which is safely played down to fine leg. Walter runs back for the second. They take 2 easy runs. 175 for 2.
We're virtually working in third world conditions here. It's yeah.
But we're doing it very well.
The old adage in BBC Local Radio is, but we get it done.
Without the public noticing.
Apart from the fact we're now talking about it on air.
Bess bowls. And this is driven back to Bess on his follow-through, who stops the single. End of the over, 175 for 2. You're listening to Glenn Speller, Don Topley and Jonathan Doidge with ball-by-ball commentary here at Chelmsford for Essex versus Yorkshire. County Championship, Division 1. And it's sunny. Beautifully sunny.
And it's very quiet around the ground as well, isn't it? I think people are stunned by the weather and just watching the cricket whilst half dozing. It's one of those sort of afternoons.
And if they're not wearing a hat,
not quite,
they're going to be slightly red later. They will. If you're here tomorrow, I don't think you need a wind cheater. You might need a bit of sunblock or a hat. Hill to come in.
Bowls, and that one is pushed out to the offside, and they come through for a single. Dimit Karunaratne, the Sri Lankan, comes in, tosses it into Harry Duke, the Yorkshire wicket keeper. And this, you must have experienced this throughout. Well, that's throughout. Obviously, you played for a very successful Essex side, but you will have had afternoons. It's warm. Broad. The pitch isn't doing much. Then you're waiting for the new ball. You're not taking wickets. The batsmen look as though they have an extended net, although in saying that, that's a play and miss from Paul Walter. A little bit of movement away from him as he played that. But you'll have had afternoons
Reverse
like this where that doesn't happen very often either. And so are you thinking get through to the new ball, or are you thinking, well, let's try this, let's try that, can we try something different, or is it literally let's just get through to the new ball without going for runs?
Yeah, that's really paramount actually.
And he is once again, and that's worked off middle stump behind square on the onside by Walter, and they come through for another single. 177 for 2. He goes to 70. Cook has 74. 218 deliveries. So Alistair Cook has eaten up today for his unbeaten 74.
Hottest I ever played in was a place called Greekland West in Kimberley, famous for the big hole, where the heat rises off the floor over 40 degrees.
Oh, and this next one has Cook fencing at the delivery from Hill, squared up as well, goes through to Duke, and there's no addition to the score, and there's not a touch either. 177 for 2 in the 79th over.
And as I say, the heat comes back up off the floor, you feel it in your feet, they are barking, and they're just so hot, your feet. But it's a dry heat rather than a humid heat. The most hot in terms of humidity would have been Sri Lanka.
This next one has Cook just playing defensively back down the pitch, and Hill collects on his follow through for no run.
But the dry heat was Kimberley without a shadow. That was really quite difficult. You almost feel ill when you take a sharp intake of breath. It's a bit like sticking your head in the oven. You can feel the heat in the back of your throat.
Here he is once again, pushed out defensively to the offside for no run again.
Not that many people stick their head in the oven.
No, I wouldn't advise it.
Don't try this at home.
Don't try that at home, quite.
Very hot. Awkward heat. Can't tell you how much your feet are barking. You just feel the heat from the floor through your leather-soled boots, your studs. You get to this stage of the day and you think, can't wait to take my boots off.
Or, why do we put them in?
Yeah, why did we put them in? Yeah.
I mean, you can see the Yorkshire thinking. There's a green top, and the Essex first innings batting hasn't been top notch so far this season. I don't think there's anything wrong with the decision that Stephen Patterson made. It might be regret. Well, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yep. Dominic Bess bowls, clipped off his legs. This is going to be one. It'll only be one for Walter, who's clipped it into square leg for a single. 178 for 2. Walter is catching up Alistair Cook here. Alistair Cook facing 74. Walter, non-striker, 71. Here he comes. Bess bowls, driven back to the bowler on his follow-through. Nice forward defensive or a push drive from Sir Alistair Cook, no run. Now, what did you do?
Now, you see, I'd love to tell you that what I did there, Don, was I went into the menu in the system and pulled this up and pulled that up.
Yes, Bess bowls. Cook drives out to mid-wicket, well fielded by an athletic Kunaratne, who stops the ball going for any runs, no run.
And then, I went internally into the whole system and did
you
a couple
give it a
of
whack?
things and played around with it, and that's what got the video stream up working in front of us again.
This time Cook does it again. Kunaratne does the fielding, no run.
However, what I did was I WhatsApped a few people and said we've lost our feed. And they started asking, where'd you get the feed from? I said, I don't know. So I turned the screen off, turned it back on again, took the cable out the back, put the cable back in again, and then just started pressing buttons.
Bess bowls smothered. Played with soft hands by Cook into the offside, no run.
What I have done, however, is you may notice the screen looks a lot brighter and the colour looks a bit more high definition than it did previously. You noticed that or not? I think I've done a great job there.
Oh, well, you've done a great job.
Thank you.
Glenn. Brilliant job, that. As Bess bowls is driven into the offside, but there is no run. End of the over, 178 for 2. Not forgetting this partnership now is worth 122. This is great news for Essex, who lost a wicket on the third ball of the morning, and then at 56 for 2, and they haven't lost another wicket since. So at the moment, the morning session probably would be split if I said that with a degree of political correctness, but the afternoon session was totally Essex's, and this post-tea session is looking at the moment, and unless Yorkshire can get a couple of wickets, this could be an Essex session too.
Alan on the email says, "Hi guys, great coverage as always. Don is still the master. I love his commentary."
Oh, blimey.
He says, "I've been listening most of the day, sitting in the sun in my garden and aiming to come over to the home of cricket tomorrow. Hugely surprised to see Adam Wheater's announcement. Has this been accelerated by Adam Rossington's arrival, or is there another reason? Great to see Paul Walter back in the side. Also like to see Cushy get a prolonged run. Looks a very good player to me. Well, the chances are Feroz Cushy, if he gets runs, will get a prolonged run, because you would expect Dan Lawrence, once he's fit, to head back with England and various other players disappearing elsewhere. As for the Adam Wheater announcement, more on that in a second. Jordan Thompson's back from the River End, is in, and he's back again. False start on the run-up. He is now running away from us at 178 for 2, in and bowling to Paul Walter, who drives back to the bowler, and there is no run. I was surprised by it.
I was.
On the Adam Rossington issue, he's on loan from Northamptonshire, so he's not actually Essex's player. Who knows what happens at the end of the season, but there are other wicketkeeper batters within the club who Essex are bringing through, and so maybe one of those will get a go. But Adam Wheater's only 32, and he's been in okay form, but obviously he's decided that at the end of this year he'll lie elsewhere, his future, and that's driven down the pitch by Walter, and he comes through for the single, 179 for 2, and he moves on to 72, just a couple of runs behind his batting partner Alistair Cook.
I, like you, were amazed, shocked. I am going to say one thing after this ball, though, that I have noticed, and I'll say it after this ball only because I think it deserves just a small bit of airing.
Thompson's in and bowling to Cook. 3 slips in, worked into the onside by Cook, and that's just timing, and he'll pick up a couple of runs here. They turn for 2, might be a third on the throw as well if they want to. Yes, they will. And they pick up 3 more runs, 182 for 2, and Cook goes to 77 now. We're in the 81st over.
I do look at most cricketers, and I've obviously been in a dressing room and on the park, and I look at people's body language and I look at people's emotions out there. And this season, occasionally I've looked at Adam Wheater and I just feel, is he really enjoying it, funny enough?
Thompson in and bowling to Walter. Walter on the drive, nicely timed and well stopped on that occasion, and there is no run.
So I don't know, and I don't want to read too much into Rossington. I think he became available and he was a good cricketer, and I do think Essex will benefit from Rossington in white ball cricket hugely in due course. On a small ground, he whacks the ball so well. He really is an impact batsman.
Thompson is in, and that's beautifully driven. Admittedly it's right up there, but it's a wonderful shot. That's one for the photographers from Paul Walter, driving through the covers for 4 runs all the way along the ground. He goes to 76 and it's 186 for 2.
So I think Essex have done the right thing by signing someone of that ilk, because he will contribute in white ball, but he will, and he's, maybe with the impending retirement of Adam Wheater, maybe it's a good signing.
Thompson round the wicket now to Walter, who lets that one go through a little bit low, but Duke takes it, and that's the end of the over, 186 for 2. But Essex have got a young wicketkeeper batter coming through as well, so that might be a Michael Pepper, so there's a development and an opportunity. And also as well, later on in the season, Rossington's going to go off to the 100 when the 50 over competition comes in. So, and Josh Rymel did really well as a batter last year in that competition for Essex. That might be Michael Pepper's opportunity behind the stumps and batting as well.
Yeah, no, very, very much so.
Michael on the email says, what was the average weight of bats over the last 50 years? The amount of power inflicted upon a cricket ball by very fit and strong young men using a modern bat, the power must be immense. And he was going back earlier on to the ball being changed, etc, etc. Someone like Graham Gooch looked like a railway sleeper what he used.
Yeah, his was quite heavy, but someone like Barry Richards wasn't. I interviewed Barry Richards at his Simola golf course some years ago, And
Patterson's back on from the Hayes close end.
he showed me his bat that he used to use. This time Patterson bowls and he's played into the offside. They look for one. Cook calls his partner back for two. Nice looking shot, but an easy looking shot from Sir Alistair Cook. He moves on to 79. Score 188 for two. And the thinner edges, I mean, he was a damn good player, was Barry Richards. I think they were sort of... David Smith, do you remember him? Big, tall David Smith, played for England, but Worcester, Sussex and Surrey. This time the ball's played by Cook up to mid-wicket for no run. He used to use somewhere about 212. That was viewed as quite large. But they don't press them as much today, so the bats look thicker, but they might not be as heavy. With the same thickness, so just bear that in mind. But kids, don't let them have heavy bats, please. Patterson bowls, this time driven up to mid-off where extra cover tries to get him in the way. He doesn't allow to stop the single. That's good running by Cook and Walter. Good cricket all round, good delivery, well fielded, good bit of anticipation. Dom Best tries to dive and stop the run, but alas, Essex get through. 189 for two.
Stephen's back on, says just rejoining the commentary after an appointment, so apologies if it's been discussed about spin at the Hayes close end.
Patterson in, round the wicket, he bowls outside off stump through to the keeper, dot ball.
He says, I know Bess has been operating from the Hayes close end. Harmer generally operates from the other end, the river end, sometimes too much to my mind, says Stephen. Any thoughts on the choice of ends at Chelmsford for spinners? Well, Bess has had to go from both ends, hasn't he, today?
He has. There's probably been a few more plays and misses, I think, from this river end for the seamers. But I thought Bess's spell before lunch and after lunch from the river end was top draw. Patterson from the Hayes close end bowls, and this is it goes in between bat and pads. This ball just comes back in on the angle and it's gone, and I played and missed, and it's been on the inside edge he's played and missed from Paul Walter. So that's probably the best ball we've seen since tea, since lunch, and I can't remember too many plays and misses outside edge this morning. But certainly not inside edges.
No, he's on the walk a little bit there, Walter, as well, and so he looks slightly unbalanced, but it's a good delivery.
76 not out he's on. Patterson bowls, this time little bit of bounce from Patterson. He bowls over the top. He's very tall man, so he does get a bit of bounce, and you could sense that that's played off the splice of the bat, off Walter's bat. So well bowled. 189 for two.
Hampshire 229 for three against Gloucestershire. Orban's still there on 105. Vince has gone. LBW to Amir for 78. He's been joined by Liam Dawson. Warwickshire 207 for four against Lancashire.
Yates get any?
Dom Sibley 99 not out. Yates made 15.
Right.
But yeah, 99 not out for Dom Sibley from 224 deliveries. Thompson's going to continue from this river end. Still with those three slips in. Around the wicket to Cook, and Cook takes his hand off the bat as he plays into the onside. And at the Oval, Surrey against Northamptonshire. Rory Burns is still going. 81 not out, and Surrey are 184 for four. Will Jacks has gone for a duck. Patel 19, Amla 21. Folkes for 16. Sam Curran had a good time with the bat in the last game. 37 not out there.
Yeah, he got 2 half centuries in succession. 2 different games.
I know Reese isn't playing in that one.
Been rested.
Here's Thompson around the wicket in, and Cook just covers up defensively, and there's no run.
And of course the noise you're hearing is the ball hitting the splice. It's a new ball. They did take the new ball.
Division 2, Leicestershire 201 for 5 against Glamorgan. Sussex 275 for 5 against Middlesex. And Durham 252 for 3 against Worcestershire.
Sussex, who's got those?
Let's have a look. Ali Orr was out for 99, and Tom Alsop's made a century, 113, but he's now out. Next one from Thompson's allowed to go through for no run. Pajara, who made a double century in the last match, out for 16, and Clark for 15 in that game. Aaron Beard, the Essex loanee, is playing, but is yet to be called into action. Let's just pick up on that Durham game as well at Worcestershire, where Ben Stokes is playing. Durham 255 for 3, Dixon 104, Peterson 50, Borthwick 50. Has been joined by Beddingham, who's on 15. So Stokes is due in next. Here's Thompson in and bowling to Cook, and a little bit low again, and Cook plays into the onside for no run. 189 for 2. Cook's gone to 80 and Walter to 76. Run rate just under 2.3.
Yeah.
And you look at the scores today though, and they are all around about this mark. And right, Essex 189 for 2. If you look in Division 1, Hampshire 231, Warwickshire 207, Surrey 184. As Thompson is in once again. Oh, that's worked powerfully this time. Off his pads by Alistair Cook. It's dribbling out. I don't think that's going to go for 4 runs, you know. It's going to actually just stop. So they've taken 3 and we're going to have an all-run 4. Well done. 193 for 2 and Cook goes for 84. It was a long old run from the fielder down at long leg all the way round to wide mid-wicket, and they pick up an all-run 4. Just looking at that Surrey innings, 190 for 4. They're in the 73rd over there, but we're in the 83rd over, so we're a little bit ahead of them. But as I said earlier on, start of the season, run scoring has not been easy for anybody in terms of scoring at a reasonable rate. Thompson's in, that's a full delivery, and Cook just puts the bat there, angles it away to the offside where it's stopped by Karunaratne at point, and that is the end of the over. And Essex are 193 for 2 with 83 overs gone in the day.
Well, Sean in Roundhay, he tweets Toppers Senior, says, was interested to hear one of your listeners refer to going to the home of cricket to watch the game. He's being cheeky here. Does he not know the game is not playing at Scarborough? Yeah, lovely place to watch cricket, Scarborough. We used to play the various festival matches towards the end of the season in sort of late August, September, which we annually did. Always staying up in Scarborough, 4-team festival.
Drinks are being taken, by the way.
All a bit of fun. Yeah, drinks are being taken on. That tells you something again, how warm it is here in Chelmsford.
Yeah,
it really is.
Everyone taking on board some much needed liquids. Umpires in conversation on the edge of the cut strip, which we're using for this game. bbcscricket@gmail.com. Stephen's back on and says, Barry Richards was the absolute star bat when I started watching cricket in the early 70s. I remember travelling to Chelmsford to see him play there one hot day in 1976. I was 14, got the bus from the family home in Gosfield with my pal. We settled down to watch the great man, only to see him caught behind by Neil Smith off the bowling of Keith Boyce from the first ball of the match. I think that was the game in which Ray East scored his only first-class century. That's what only takes one ball. Only takes one ball. It does. Dismiss your hero.
I once got Viv Richards out first ball at Ilford. First ball, he played for Glamorgan. I bowled it, it just stopped, got a leading edge. I dived, I caught it on my follow through, caught and bowled Topley naught. And I went down to fine leg and I thought, I just got Viv Richards out for first ball. And some bloke said, oi, I've paid a lot of money to watch him. What do you do that for? I apologise, naturally. Yeah, Barry Richards, Viv Richards. We were blessed. I mean, look, there are 2 greats in this game. When we talk about Richards and Viv, look, in different ways, different types of batsmen. But I've got so much respect for Sir Alistair Cook and Joe Root, and in particular Joe Root. I really have, and I admire him, and I admire what he's done in the last couple of years. He's made himself one of the world's great players again. He was, and then he sort of just went off the boil a little bit, but he's come back strongly, and he has held the England batting together for the best part of 2 years.
Stephen Patterson's going to come back on from the Hayes close end this time, after the players have had their little drinky.
And I do think someone like Joe Root might struggle with a lack of pace on this wicket. You know, he might get caught on the drive or gully or somewhere like that. But listen, if you want to see, obviously if you're not here, you're listening to us, you're at home, you're watching on the streaming, fine. But if you want to watch Joe Root, come tomorrow. He's going to bat tomorrow as Patterson bowls, and this is a quick leg by, or is it a single? As two players converge on the ball to try and stop the single. It's a run because it's come off the bat to pad. Essex 194 for 2.
Yeah, Karunaratne coming in and side-footing the ball towards the stumps, and he got high fives from a couple of the slips as well. There's George Hill and Adam Lythe in there. As they all raced towards the ball, he won the race, the Sri Lankan. You're confident Mr. Root will be in tomorrow, are you?
Yeah, I am. Patterson in, round the wicket to Cook. Cook gets squared up. That's well bowled with this new ball, and it goes out to gully. 3 slips and a gully waiting. Once again with Essex, we're learning from Yorkshire. I hope, like we said last week when Northamptonshire were here, as a professional, you'd much rather see the ball dropped than fall short. Sorry to be repetitive, and I mentioned that a few times last week, but you'd rather see it drop than keep falling short. Patterson round the wicket to Cook. Cook plays it up to mid-on, no run, 194 for 2.
Dom Sibley has his century, 101 not out from 230 deliveries. It's been a struggle for him at the start of this season, so nice to see him getting some runs on the board for
Took
Warwickshire.
a big gamble, he did, by not going away with the Lions. He worked on his technique, worked on a couple of things with far brace and some other, in particular, who was the old Warwickshire coach? This time Cook plays back to the bowler on his follow through. There is no run. Jim Troughton, who's now Surrey batting coach, after Vikram Solanki went off to the IPL to look after, was it the Gujarat Lions?
Not a bad gig.
Yeah. In comes Patterson, coming from the Hayes close end. This is no, it's not. It's going up for a little shout. Maybe it was bat pad first, but either way, it was only a half-hearted appeal. 3 slips and a gully were genuinely interested.
Looked like a slower ball from Patterson as well, which had Cook just slightly early on the shot and just striking that front pad. Oh yeah, there's a big inside edge on it actually, just looking at that. Had it not gone the inside edge and continued on its line, it would have been an interesting one for the umpire.
Shadows, hazy sunshine. Patterson's in. This is an inside edge. They're going to take one. Karunaratne at mid-wicket has to come across to square leg to collect the ball. They take the single, 195 for 2. End of the over. 84 overs have been bowled here at the Cloud FM County Cricket Ground.
12 overs to go in the day. Paul on the emails, bbcscricket@gmail.com, says my first ever county game was Chalkwell Park, Westcliff in 1968. Essex all out around 90 just before lunch. Shackleton, Cottam and Butch White. Barry Richards bowled east, 176. I remember it still, he says.
Wonderful. Listen, Butch White, go through that bowling attack. Butch White,
I'll go back,
Bob Cotton, and one other you mentioned.
Shackleton, Cottam.
Derek Shackleton.
Butch White, yeah.
Now, Butch White was a character. Some great cricketers there, Hampshire cricketers back in the day there.
Here's Thompson, still with that new ball in hand, forces Cook to play off the back foot. Karunaratne tidies up a point for no run, 195 for 2.
They were the era, I think Butch White used to consume a pint of beer during his lunch back in the day.
There's a lot to be said for it.
Carbs. Just don't overdo the carbs.
Right. Here's Thompson. Round the wicket. Into Cook. And Cook off the back foot. Forces away, and that'll go away for 4 runs. Karunaratne is giving chase, but he might as well give it up because it's so well timed. Cook goes to 89 and the score to 199 for 2.
That is such a typical new ball shot from Sir Alistair Cook. He just rode it, waited, and then forced it through the covers. Square of the wicket. Terrific skill. I wish I could play shots like that. But you just haven't got the ability. But watching someone like Sir Alistair Cook do it religiously against a new ball, it is such a skill.
Thompson ball back in hand. In and bowling, and Cook driving on the front foot this time, and it doesn't matter, front foot, back foot, the result is exactly the same. This one goes more in the extra cover region and goes away for 4 runs. He goes to 93, and the 200's up for Essex now. They're 203 for 2 in the 85th over.
Well, over the course of the day, we've seen Cook score and then Walter catch him up, but now Cook has gone ahead. He's on 93, but he has found a few more gaps with the new ball because Yorkshire have attacked by having 3 slips, and he's profited by it.
Thompson in again, down the leg side this time, and Cook's going to pick up 4, but it's going to be leg by, so they won't go to him. But it's 3 balls from Thompson that have all gone to the boundary, and it's 207 for 2 now.
We often see this in the professional game, and the applause is for the 200 for Essex.
For the 150 stand.
And 150 stand. Yeah. But we often see in professional cricket that, look, we're excited about bowling with the second new ball or the third new ball. Yeah, great. But quite often, because you just attack a little bit, there are a few more gaps. Suddenly runs come into play as well. And it's just one of those things.
Well, he's got the first 3 wrong, Thompson, here. This next one is right on the mark and defensively pushed up to mid-on, and there is no run. 207 for 2 in the 85th over. BBC Essex, BBC Radio leads in the Yorkshire stations, with you via the BBC Sport website and the app, and also via the live stream as well. And Cook is on 93, has a century already to his name this season in the opening game against Kent. And a couple of other contributions as well. And here's Thompson in once again, and that's on the pads as well, and Cook works that one just behind square on the onside, and he'll pick up another couple of comfortable runs. And Thompson's not covered himself in glory, maybe just, as you say, Don, the adrenaline's pumping a little bit with that new ball in his hands. 209 for 2, and that's the end of the over.
It's hard. There's a small margin of error. He'll be on a learning curve here. Just to go through the bowling figures: Patterson 16 overs, 6 maidens, 0 for 29. Revis 11 overs, no maidens, 0 for 46. Hill 12 overs, 2 maidens, 0 for 34. Best 22 overs, 12 maidens, 1 for 31. Brook 5 overs, 1 maiden, 0 for 6. Root 3 overs, 0 for 4, which leaves Thompson. Thompson's bowled, I'm waiting for it to correct, but 16 overs, 7 maidens, 1 for 48, I think it is. There's the bowling figures. The new ball has allowed Essex to score a few. There's 3 slips and a gully waiting. It's going to be the captain, Patterson. He's on his way in, round the wicket to Walter. Walter's got to be watchful here. Gets squared up just a little bit. He just plays with soft hands, plays it into backward point. There is no run.
Cook on 95 from 247 deliveries. As you say, it's sort of gone in waves, hasn't it? Obviously, when Walter came in, Cook was significantly ahead of him, and then he'd score, and then Cook would find his range, and vice versa. And at one time, I think Walter was just a couple of runs behind Alistair Cook, but Cook, with those 2 boundaries in the previous over, has just leapt ahead of him again.
Patterson, Hayes close end, running towards us, bowls. This is ball bounces. Walter plays with high hands, negotiates it on the front foot. There is no run. Well played. 209 for 2. Losing a couple of wickets with this new ball just changes the face of Essex's innings, because as we know, as we have seen before, Essex will want to capitalise tomorrow. What's the phrase Cook and Gooch use? Book in for bed and breakfast. 3 slips awaiting. In he comes, bowls, clipped into the leg side. Walter will take a single to mid-wicket, where there is just the one. Sensible batting, 210 for 2.
Yeah, there's the old adage, if you're a batter, if it's your day, you'll have plenty of days where the ball's zipped around all over the shop and you get out with virtually nothing on the board. So when it is your day and you've got yourself in, you've got yourself here, make sure you take absolutely everything that's on offer. And they've got one man in particular who's about to receive the next delivery who knows all about that, and a man at the other end who looks as though he could do that. He's shown us plenty already, Paul Walter. He's more than capable.
Patterson in. Decent ball, a full length, brings Cook forward, driven up to mid-off where there is no run. I think it's Root is shining the ball on his rump and his thigh, hard. Once the lacquer comes off, can you get the leather, the red leather, natural dye, shining to try and make it conventionally swing? They need some help here. You really do have to look after the ball. Patterson round the wicket, 3 slips are down. Cook waiting, plays with soft hands, plays into the offside, no run.
Bit more chat in the outfield. They're desperately trying to keep the bowlers going because Yorkshire will know this new ball is the opportunity. They had a very fallow afternoon period where the ball wasn't doing anything, and we know it's a slow, low pitch, and Cook and Walter did everything that was asked of them, and it was going to be tough, and they would have been looking at that moment when the board comes up and you can take the new ball. This is our chance.
Patterson played with an open face bat, sensibly, smart bowling, smart batting. End of the over, the 86th over of the day, which leaves the best part of 6 overs left. Minimum remaining is 10 actually, no 10. And they run, and the over rate is, I can't quite see that. Is that say +6? Does that say +6, the over rate?
Yes, your eyes are not deceiving you.
I don't think I've ever seen.
You may have to have a lie down after seeing that, mightn't you?
I don't think I've ever seen +6
No.
in a first class game.
No.
Jonathan Deutsch, have you seen that?
We don't mess about, you
No.
know. We get on with it.
Yeah.
Get on with it.
We're +5 last week.
Did you?
I'm not Northampton as well.
It helps having Best bowl quickly through his overs as he has done, and bowl so well as well.
210 for 2 is the Essex score. Paul Walter's on strike. Jordan Thompson is going to come in and bowl once he's finished wiping the ball on the front of that Yorkshire shirt once again. And then on the top of his left thigh, he's going to come in over the wicket. 2 slips, so 1 slip has gone out for Thompson here, and Walter just pushes defensively out to the offside where Joe Root comes in and picks up, and there's no run. 210 for 2. Cook's just having a chat with Joe Root there. Joe Root come across to him and just shared a few words.
Do you think they shared dinner one night? Wouldn't surprise me. Possibly.
Come over to the farmhouse for
Yeah,
a meal one evening, maybe.
It wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me.
Here's Thompson into Walter, and Walter pushes back down the pitch. The bowler lets it run past him. It's picked up by the Yorkshire captain Stephen Patterson at mid-on, and there's no run. Once again, run rate 2.43. That's possibly the highest it's been today, I think.
I wonder if, we're going to look at selectors and coaches and whoever in due course, and it is only a month till the first test at Lord's. I just wonder if someone like Sir Alistair Cook will be consulted.
Thompson in wide, and Walter's not drawn into the drive and lets it go through, and Duke takes it, no run.
Rob Key, or I don't know who's going to get the head coach's role, but if they're going to pick an interim test side because there's no one in particular place. I mean, let's not rush it. Let's get the right people in place.
Well, we had this, didn't we, previously, where someone like Marcus Trescothick was used almost as a scout in county cricket because he was still playing, and they would use him to say who's in form. Thompson in, Walter drives up to mid-off, and Milan fields, there's no run.
Yeah, correct. Not being funny, they use Marcus Trescothick because he's a highly reliable, dependable, there's no agenda with him, and I think the same would be with Sir Alistair Cook. So the trouble is he wouldn't have seen too many in Division 2, he'll only see the ones he's seen in Division 1. But the idea or the thinking behind it would be sound.
Thompson into Walter, and Walter hits that uppishly into the onside, but he's pierced the infield, and that will roll away, but it won't go for 4. Seems a bit slow on this side of the ground, and they pick up 3 runs. He goes to 81, and the score to 213 for 2.
Poor old, is that Stephen Patterson chasing after that? There was about 5 metres of that. I thought he was treading water.
He's thinking, please roll over the road.
Exactly, he was blowing it. He's trying to blow it over so he doesn't have to chase it. Yeah, it's going to be a tall order this last 10 overs or so. They're going to have to dig deep here. They're desperately keen for a wicket. Something to happen here, Yorkshire. Really desperate for something to happen.
Thompson into Cook, pushes defensively out to the offside. To Joe Root, who collects, and there's no run. And that's the end of another Jordan Thompson over. 17 now, 1 for 51 from his 17 overs with 7 maidens. Patterson's got none for 30 at the other end, also from 17.
Yep. Will Patterson continue? He's taken his shirt and his cap off, handed it to Tim Robinson. Tim Robinson would have been good on such a wicket like this. Quite a front foot fella for Nottinghamshire. Opened the batting for England for a good number of years. Cultured player, proper player, authentic player. But it's Walter with 3 slips and a gully, and it's going to be Patterson into him. Right arm over the wicket, it's mistimed, dragged, close face of the bat by Walter. Instead of hitting it offside, it just closes the face and goes into mid-on for no run.
Tumbling stop by Dibbet Karunaratne as well. It's interesting you talked about, we've got Rob Bailey as well, who's an umpire here today, and they're sort of the era when I was growing up, 80s, 90s. Who from the current crop will end up as umpires in 10, 15 years' time?
I'm going to have a guess. Shall we have a guess? Yeah. Patterson in, plays inside edge. Walter takes 1. They're going to look for 2 because there is no fine leg. It's the keeper, Duke, who sprints after it the best part of 50 metre. He won that race, and well fielded by the keeper. Walter 2 more runs. Essex 215 for 2. Okay. Yeah. Takes a particular type of person. I'd love to watch the cricket. You
can't as an umpire.
But
you can't just watch the cricket.
I couldn't concentrate. Yeah. I'd love it. This time outside off stump, swings back. That does on the bounce. Well bowled, Patterson.
You see, I'd have said someone like if he wasn't still playing, someone like a Darren Stevens or something, because he's loved being involved in the game, would probably still want to do that. But the trouble is he's still playing, and playing very well for Kent. Those sorts of players who've been round the county scene have a feel for it.
I'm just thinking of the Essex lot.
All right. Okay. So, from your era then, who would you have said, he might go on and be an umpire, and then didn't? Was there
Ted Turner, Stuart Turner. As Patterson bowls outside off stump again. Just listen, this ball is just swinging back for Patterson. Well bowled, sir. 215 for 2. Stuart Turner. You've got to be a particular. You got to.
See, would Ray East have been a good umpire?
No.
Because you'd have had a laugh with him.
He'd be messing around at square leg. Right. He wouldn't be messing around at your end bowling, but he'd be messing around at square leg. He couldn't concentrate. Patterson bowls outside off stump through to the keeper, dot ball.
Just trying to think from Yorkshire.
Derek Pringle's in the ground. Arnie Sidebottom.
There is one Yorkshire player who's confessed that he's interested in doing that when he retires. So you've got all the rest of the day's play. Have a good think about it and one guess.
Okay. And he's out there today. Okay.
No. Okay, James Middlebrook, obviously formerly of Yorkshire and Essex. Patterson bowls. There's a play and a miss. Doesn't surprise me. We've seen the ball do something with a bit of swing, maybe a little bit of nip. This new ball was done a little bit really after 6 to 7 overs.
I've been happy to come back in from when I walked in.
So I'm looking at round here who's confessed he might fancy doing. I'm going to come back to you early, Mr. Deutsch. Live.
That's what I would have said. Lithe, you see.
Live.
Adam Lithe, I'd have said. Let me leave you.
All right.
And I'll bring Jonathan in.
Okay.
I know he's got a busy period coming up with
Has
various updates for
Has he?
various Yorkshire stations, but let me bring him in
Tell
once
me,
I can work out where I am.
I'm asking as a host.
Yeah.
Is his what clothes has he got on now? Has he changed at all?
No, just a t-shirt
Just
on.
a
He's taken the
t-shirt.
sunglasses off. Thompson's
Has he?
in and bowling, and that's pushed out to the offside, and there is no run. So if I just unplug myself, then you can carry on, and we'll bring
Right.
Jonathan in.
Jordan Thompson played a bit of Big Bash cricket this winter. Checking his studs. I wonder what he thought of that. But if I had to guess out there, Adam Lithe would be my guess to see if he'd like to do a little spot of umpiring at the end of his career. Takes a particular type of person. Thompson. Chatting to his captain. He's now into his run. Up the hill, past the umpire Bailey. Out there's a leg by. No, there's not. Comes off his pad, goes down the leg side, and the keeper stops any form of leg buys.
I can tell you that the man who wants to follow in the footsteps of the likes of Yorkshire umpires Richard Illingworth,
Yep.
Richard Kettleborough,
Yep.
um,
Good one.
James Middlebrook,
Yep.
and of course none other than Harold Dennis Bird
Yeah.
is, you're right, Adam Lithe.
I can see. Definitely see that. As opening bat, isn't it? This is, look an edge. Yorkshire have made something happen with this second new ball. 4 more runs there to Paul Water. It's Alistair Cook. He moves to 99. 99. It's an edge through, probably vacant third, fourth slip. Went down, played with soft hands, as the opener does. But I'm going to give great credit to Patterson and Thompson. The last 4 or 5 overs, well, they've taken the new ball 8 overs ago, but once the lacquer's come off, probably the last 6 overs, they have bowled nicely, Jonathan.
Yeah, they'll still be disappointed, I think, to have only taken the 2 in the day so far.
Thompson in, this is cut, that's a beautiful shot. There's the cheer from the Essex faithful. They've seen it many times before. Cook takes off his helmet, raises his bat to the pavilion. Is congratulated by Paul Water, and he celebrates with the crowd and raises his bat to everyone here. Well played, Sir Alistair Cook. 103 runs in 255 balls. Essex 223 for 2, and we've witnessed yet another Sir Alistair Cook 100.
Yep, and a very good one too, and his team certainly needed it. None for 1, couldn't get a run for a while, and 56 for 2.
Thompson bowls outside off stump, but he's nicked it and he's been dropped at first slip. Who is on the floor in the crucifix position. He is gutted. It's an edge, definitely dropped.
Harry Brook.
So both these batsmen have had a life. Walter on 12 and now Cook on 104. As I said, it's frustrating for Yorkshire because, look, they haven't had too much to celebrate, but in the last 6 or 7 overs, they have bowled quite nicely with this new. They've created chances, most importantly. Thompson in. This time that's a shout for LB. It's just come in back with the arm from around the wicket. I was slightly interested, but the umpire, Bailey, wasn't. Walter gets away with it. 224 for 2.
Yep, you've got to take your chances, haven't you?
Yes.
That's 3-1. Tom Wesley dropped on 4. Paul Walter dropped on 12, and now Sir Alistair Cook dropped on 103. Sooner or later you've got to take them, or you're going to pay. And what, 2 down in the entire day, 224 on the board, having won the toss and stuck them in. There's not a lot more you can say than that, is there? Stephen Patterson then. He's going to continue from the Hayes Close end.
The difficulty, Jonathan, and I only know this too well, we witnessed it a little bit last summer in the conference system. Essex dropped quite a lot of catches last year. If you've got to go and get, Jonathan, 13 wickets in an innings to bowl a team out, you're not going to win too many games, because it just puts you on the back foot all the time. It's hard enough getting 10 wickets.
Yeah, Patterson comes in, and that's dropped into the offside by Alistair Cook, and there's no run. Yeah, and it was mentioned in the post-match analysis last week. 1 or 2 went down as well. They've done so in every game so far this season. It's one of those difficult ones for anybody to answer, I suppose. You've got to ask the question, but Otis Gibson, said, well, I'm happy with the way they're practicing and they're doing all those things right, but in a match situation, you can't replicate that in training quite as well, and particularly slip catches, of course. There the stick, or they don't. Stifled appeal for LBW. Patterson on Cook, pushing forward, balloons out into the offside. Milan picks it up. Yeah, so there'll be nobody more disappointed than Stephen Patterson himself, having dropped Walter on 12 off his own bowling.
Yep.
And then Jordan Thompson as well. He'll be feeling it, won't he? As will Harry Brook at the moment, is staring into space at the green stuff below him, having dropped that catch. So Alistair Cook in the previous over off Jordan Thompson. Patterson bowling here to Cook, who's tightened up but gets it away, stabs it away backward a square off his legs. Harry Duke throws off a glove and chases after it, but Dimut Karunaratne does the fielding in the end, and they're back for 2.
Talking of umpires, we've had an email, gents, from Stephen. He says, I first watched Essex in 72, and all the time the only one Essex player who umpired has been James Middlebrook. I think Neil Bainton, who has not played first-class cricket, is also Essex-born. That is true. Has any other county produced fewer umpires? I wouldn't know. I do know Adam Seymour is trying to get onto the umpires circuit.
Patterson to Cook, dropping into the offside, no run.
Adam Seymour played for Essex for many years, used to get a game when Gooch was occasionally away at a test match, opening the batting, left-hander, who went on to play in a cup final for Worcestershire, but now resides up your way and he umpires in the Yorkshire Leagues. And last weekend he came down to do Norfolk-Suffolk, but he's trying to get on the umpires reserve list. Adam Seymour.
Okay. Patterson, meanwhile, passing umpire Robinson. Cook pushing more than anything, not driving. Back past the bowler. Thompson fields. Penny Sutcliffe sent in a battery of emails, 3 of them in quick succession. Here we go. Well bowled, Pato. Come on, Tykes. We can pick up a couple now. Played Cookie. And then, no! Another drop.
The game's brutal. It really is. Nobody wishes anybody to drop catches, and they don't do it intentionally, but it is brutal that when you drop one, gosh, you want the earth to open up. And
yeah, Patterson to Cook, wide of off stump in his shoulders arms. Yeah, there was one just down at Bristol the other week where Marcus Harris was dropped on 18 and made 100 and plenty. I'm just going to duck out for a moment and do an update for BBC Humberside.
good energies here still from Harry Duke, who's been chasing to ensure he's first ready at each over, like any good wicket-keeper. I must say, he looks a quick fella over 50 metres, because he's done a bit of fielding as well at fine leg, where there's been no fielder and he's had to chase the ball. So he's made an impression on me. He's full of energy, which every wicket-keeper should be. Jordan Thompson, who's bowled well with this second new ball. It's going to continue. Milan talking to him at mid-off. He's off, away from us. In he bowls. Bit of an effort ball there against Paul Walter and goes through to the keeper. Paul Walter on 83, got 93 last week. He's been a bit slow to score in just the last few overs. Fair enough against the second new ball. He's going to have to be watchful and resilient and patient, which all good batsmen should be. He'll be enjoying the fact that he's batting with Sir Alistair Cook, and this partnership now is worth 160. No, 170. He'll remember this for a long time. The day Sir Alistair and myself put on 170 against Yorkshire. Thompson turns, just realigns his necklace, comes in, bowls, clipped down the leg side for one. Walter will come back for a second, and he does. 228 for 2. Nice chase for Matthew Revis down at fine leg. He has to move the best part of 40 metres. Still a good crowd here. Only a few have left from the public side and perhaps the pavilion. The pavilion is in shadow now. Gets just a little chillier in front of the pavilion.
Not a lot as far as Yorkshire are concerned. In fact, Alistair Cook has just
Thompson, 44 on his back, running up the hill. 2 slips in the gully, clipped into the leg side. No run.
Was way back at 12:21. It's been a very, very tough afternoon of toil for Yorkshire with the ball. New wickets soon.
You're listening to Don Topley, Glenn Speller, Jonathan Doidge, BBC Essex, BBC Radio Leeds, bringing you live ball-by-ball commentary of this Division 1 game, a county championship. Full of history, both clubs, Essex and Yorkshire. Thompson moving away from us, pass umpire Bailey, bowls down the leg side, it's clipped. It's going to be just one. Is it a leg by? Looking at the umpire, he signals leg by. 229 for 2. Yeah, looking a little tired now. Overs left in the day. Minimum 5.2. Thompson turns. 2 slips still waiting. Cook facing. Bowls driven in the offside. There's a man on the boundary. Will he get one? Will he take 2? They're looking for a quick 2. That's well fielded. He stops the 2, does Kunaratne. Brilliant bit of fielding there. Very quick on the cover boundary. Well fielded, sir. 1 run to Sir Alistair Cook. Score 231 for 2. Barry Banks, high toppers. Ben Debenham, albeit Essex second team. Good shout. Ben Debenham played a lot of club cricket, played second team, wasn't quite decent enough to play first team cricket, and is now a first class umpire. Ben Debenham down the leg side, that's parried. A little bit more pace on that, bit more of an effort from Thompson, but alas, there is no bye or leg bye. It's the end of the over, 230 for 2. Thank you, Barry, for that. That's a good shout. How did we miss that one off?
So Patterson going to bowl from the Hayes close end again. Still to bat for Essex, Matt Critchley, Adam Rossington, Feroz Kushi, Simon Harmer, Shane Snater, Mark Steckerty and Sam Cook. So plenty more to come. How's Matt Critchley gone, by the way, since his move from Derbyshire?
He played really well, got 100 in his debut here on a slowish wicket. He's contributed with the ball as well. It's an interesting thing. I'll give you my initial views this time.
Patterson to Cook, dropping out into the point region, no run.
He's done well. He started off at 6 and he went up to 5. He scored runs initially, but he's one of these modern cricketers that gets them at quite a lick or a pace. He stands up quite tall at the crease. He often is quite straight-legged, or I'm happier with him at 6 than 5. That's my own personal opinion. Or 7 and 6.
Patterson to Cook, who pushes out to Bess in the covers, no run.
It's been a good move. He's got opportunity, early opportunity, and he's been rewarded, and he's rewarded Essex with some good showings. But he is today down at 5. I'm happier with him at 6. But we would have a problem here if we had Dan Lawrence playing. Essex would have a selection issue.
James Carman says, we're looking a bit toothless without Ralph, Jonathan. Meanwhile, Yorkshire's captain coming in to Cook, who punches into the offside Bess fielding. Mighty Mariners, afternoon all, slow run rate, just 2 and over. That was a while ago when he sent that in. I think things have picked up to some extent since then. It is at Jonathan Doidge, or BBC West Yorkshire Sport at gmail.com, BBC Essex Cricket at gmail.com, and at BBC Essex Sport. Closing in on the end of day 1, which has firmly been the home sides at this point, as Patterson bowls to Cook, who plays a false stroke outside off stump, maybe inside edge it onto his body, I think. Drops out to Milan, who's at gully and fields. Into his 20th over now, the Yorkshire captain. He's gone for just the 34 runs, but his efforts have thus far not brought a wicket. Should have had one off his own bowling when Walter hit one back to him. The score was 79 for 2 there at that point in the 38th over. Seems a long time ago. Just into the afternoon session. Patterson gone. Alistair Cook has played a false shot twice in the over, once onto his body, and this time Stephen Patterson, nagging away around about 4th stump, has got the inside edge, which is cannoned and just clipped leg. It's just knocked it back, but that's enough. The bails are off, and so is Sir Alistair Cook after yet another first-class century. 107 runs he scored in 268 deliveries and 344 minutes at the crease, 14 fours, and a standing ovation from the home support. And well, he might, because a none for 1 on a green seamer, having been put in by the opposition, that is when class tells.
Yeah, well played, Sir Alistair Cook. Many would have enjoyed that 0 for 1, seeing his partner go, Nick Brown. And then at 20 to 6, he collects another 100. 107 for Sir Alistair Cook. Well played, sir. Critchley, the man we were just talking about, strides to the wicket with the best part of 4.1 overs left. So it's a night watchman. Sam Cook, the number 11. He's done a few night watchman duties this summer already. He has. He did it twice at Taunton. He might have done it at Birmingham. And he might have done it last week. Or am I wrong? Certainly done it a few times, twice at Taunton. He might not be a night watchman. He may be thinking, I am a number 5. Cook. He'll want to ensure he keeps his wicket tonight.
Not, I am a number 10. Or
11.
is it 1 in 10?
1 in 10. Do you remember that?
I am a number 10.
Do you prefer that to Queen, what you were listening to earlier, courtesy of BBC Essex?
Both are fine. Yeah, fine.
Are we the similar age? Genre? I've got to be older than you.
You've got to be older than me. Undoubtedly.
I don't know how old, and I can't find out how old you are. You could find out how old I am.
Let's drop that then, shall we?
I'm happy with the music.
Patterson then to bowl to Cook, who turns it into the leg side to Karuna Ratney, and that is the end of a productive over for Stephen Patterson, because he finally got Alistair Cook 230 for 3 at the end of it. Just got to pop off again and do an update for BBC Radio York.
I presume you're happy if I was to buy tickets for Talk, people like that, 1980s band. A number of county grounds are hosting concerts this summer. Quite an important income to the counties. Well, third wicket has fallen, 230 for 3. Harry Thompson. Actually, I'm going to say Yorkshire deserved that wicket. They've created a couple of chances. They've bowled quite well with this new ball, certainly for the last 6 or 7, 8 overs. Jordan Thompson bowling. This time, Walter plays straight, plays into the offside. There is no run. Gosh, one could bring 2 here. Changes the face of the game if they could get 230 for 4. Could they be greedy, Yorkshire? 230 for 5, getting the Nightwatchman out. Or will Essex go to bed tonight 230 odd for 3 with the Nightwatchman in? Thompson bowls a bouncer, decent bouncer, which Walter has to go down. He doesn't evade by swaying, he goes down beneath it. He does keep his eye on it mostly, but at the last minute the bat was still slightly raised, but it was safe. Well bowled to Jordan Thompson. Been impressed with Yorkshire with this second new ball. Round the wicket, short down the leg side. That's clipped off his hip for 1. Goes down all the way to fine leg in front of the retirement flats. One more run, 231 for 3, which brings the Nightwatchman, the right-handed Sam Cook onto strike, who's taking guard. He's asking for 2, I think. That's middle and leg. Mates a mark. Has a quick look at the field. Takes into his stance, bat down. He's ready. The bowler's ready. Bat up. He's waiting. Outside off stump. That's a nice shouldering arms. Allows it through to the keeper. No run. Got to make the Nightwatchman play, ideally. Umpire Bailey sticks 2 fingers up to umpire Robinson to suggest there's 2 remaining, of which the umpire at square leg, umpire Robinson, to the affirmative agrees. 2 balls left, make him play. The Nightwatchman does not want to play a straight ball. Outside off stump, he shoulders arms again, happy to leave. So happy to leave the ball is Sam Cook through to the keeper, no run. Sun is going lower in the sky. Still a good crowd hanging in. Some have left since Sir Alistair Cook got his century. Few on the balconies adjacent to this old historic ground. 3 slips and a gully now waiting, and a bat pad. Plays straight into the leg side. But it could have taken a single, but they're not going to take a single. And there is no run. 231 for 3. And we've had 93 overs of the first day between Essex and Yorkshire here at Chelmsford. Join us tomorrow, where the same broadcasting team will be on duty. Glenn Speller, Jonathan Doidge and myself, bringing you ball by ball commentary. Day 2. Will Essex bat and bat, or will we see the likes of Joe Root enter the affray? and have a bat.
About, £6,955,000.
Root is now at first slip. People were asking why wasn't he at slip? Were they looking, protecting his finger? I have to say, Root is at first slip since the second new ball.
You're here to try and work some magic of that fashion. I don't really care. I just need some wickets.
2 slips and a gully. It's going to be Hill, driven into the offside by Paul Walter. Well fielded at extra cover by Bess. There is no run. Joe Root using his experience, bringing the wicket-keeper's helmet deeper. Doesn't want it to get hit to give away 5 penalty runs. Root at first slip, Lithe at second. Hill in, there's a shout. No, they're not interested. There was a little half-hearted appeal, but not out. Umpire Robinson not interested. Hill 12.3 overs, 2 maidens, 0 for 34. Thompson 20 overs, 1 for 64. It's bowled quite well with the second new ball, Thompson, to give him credit.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I've gone for 64?
Oh, you'll be a great fella to take to the quiz. Walter plays up to mid-on, no run. Do you like a quiz?
I like a music quiz if it's of my era. If I went to a music, if I went to a music quiz from 2000 onwards, I would be struggling massively to come up with many points. But prior to that,
I like my 80s.
Okay. Do okay.
I do like my 80s.
70s, 80s.
This time Hill. Oh, this is trapped. Yorker length, but it's trapped between bat and pad. It possibly hurt Paul Walter there as he stabbed it onto his right toe. But alas, no runs, no chance of a dismissal.
In fact, I was only invited to a quiz next week, last night. And I tried to make my excuses, but I think I've been persuaded. I think it's so that the other two are not the thickest people on the team.
You worry me when you said 70s. Hill is driven back past him. He tries to dive on his follow through.
60s.
Really? Okay. I struggle with 60s, a little bit of 70s. 80s, very happy. New music, quite a breadth of genre. Yeah, and enjoy the 80s.
Here's Hill
Go on.
to Walter, who flicks it into the leg side, and there is a single. I don't like cricket. Name of the song?
10cc.
Name of the song, though?
Not
Correct.
Dreadlock Holiday. Yeah.
What was the year?
Hey, youngster. Name the year? Well, that would be 77.
I think so.
Oh.
I was going to say.
Is that part of a quiz?
I've not looked it up, but I think it was 77.
It's something like that.
Let's just have a look.
At the same time as Where's Your Mama Gone?
Oh no, that would have been much
Earlier?
earlier. That's
75?
No.
74?
No. But
Really?
I'm reckoning probably about 70 or 71 for that.
Okay, what about, would that be Diana Ross?
78 was Dreadlock Holiday, actually. So we're both wrong. Chirpy, cheap.
Cheap, yeah. That was the first overseas holiday I went on, and apparently I just used to put money in to play that, apparently.
Middle of the road, it was a number one, wasn't it? 1971, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Bess comes on at our end, the river end, so he's bowled 2 good spells, either side of lunch from our end. He then transferred to the other end, where he still bowled well, but I thought he bowled better from this end, and he now starts his new spell from the river end bowls, gives it a bit of air into the leg side, collects it on his follow through. There is no run. Is ready, slip and a back pad on the leg side. Walter waiting. Bowles gives it a bit of air. This is clipped off his pad. Balloons off his pad, but there is no chance of a catch nor a run. 232 for 3. Can Essex get to bed tonight without losing any further wickets? Would Yorkshire, what they would do to get a wicket or two now? Bess on his way in, short, outside off stump, just played sensibly off the back foot, straight bat into the offside, no run.
Yeah, I guess they'd quite like to see the back of Paul Walter at this stage, approaching a ton.
Hasn't got a ton, got 93 last week. That's his career best. It brings deep fire square leg up into the 1. At square leg, we haven't seen him sweep a ball all day. This time plays with a straight bat off the back foot into the offside, no run. Tall men don't often sweep, tall men play down the ground. We've seen Alistair Cook play a sweep shot a couple of times, and there was a big appeal for a sweep shot against Sir Alistair Cook, but given not out. Bess. In he comes. This one's given a bit of air. Paul Walter drives. They're going to take a quick single. Root has a shy. Good bit of fielding from Joe Root. He would have been in, but nonetheless, competent bit of fielding, aggressive bit of fielding. 233 for 3.
When he's scored, 50,000 first-class runs and he brings out his autobiography, that can be the title, can it? Tall men don't sweep.
Like that. I like that. Very good. Like that. I'll take that one home with me tonight. Bess over the wicket to the right-handed Nightwatchman, who plays just on the front foot with a straight bat into the leg side for the end of the over to complete the 95th over of Essex's innings. They are 233 for 3.
And of course, if he does get that many first-class runs and you've gone away like the educated chap you appear to be and patented that title, then you both make some money out of that, don't you?
There's 2 things wrong with that. 1, I won't make much money, and 2, I'm not an intelligent chap. There lies the problem.
A couple of issues there then. So we're going to see George Hill continuing at Hayes close end of the ground. We've had 95 overs for the day and 1 remains, and we are at 5 minutes to 6. An on-time finish. I'll just say that again. An on-time finish. A finish on time.
Gosh.
At 6 o'clock.
Gosh.
No way. No, it's not. It's not real, is it? It's a dream. Here comes Hill in towards Walter, who picks it off through square leg, and Milan set back on the boundary, strolls in to do the fielding. So I'm actually going to do a piece for Radio Leeds at 6:05, which is not during play. I can't remember, apart from when a match is actually completed, that happening in 4 years. Don't think.
Well, all because it's so sunny.
Goodness gracious me. It's all down to the Chelmsford weather. The Chelmsford climate, I should say, not weather.
Yeah. I do think the boys will have enjoyed the heat, but it's probably taken a little bit out of them. It really has.
It's not that warm down at ground level when you walk around the tee shot, I've got to say. And
really?
I think that's why quite a few of them have still got the long-sleeved sweaters on, yeah. It's just warm in the greenhouse here. Here's Hill over the wicket, bowling to Sam Cook, who plays it out to Bess, backward of point, and there is no run. Sam Cook, of course, induces thoughts of several other songs.
I'll be thinking about this all night.
I watched a documentary, actually. I like watching music documentaries, and he was on this documentary. He was portrayed as the first real soul man, first soul king. I wasn't around at the time, so I wouldn't know enough to be able to argue either for or against. Here's Hill, well, and Sam Cook.
Good effort.
Yeah, knew where his off stump was roughly there and left it, and the ball missed.
quite a good night watchman actually. His temperament's good, defence technique is good, forward and back. Quite watchful. He's an intelligent bowler. Sam Cooke went to university. It's always dangerous, isn't it? Bowler going to university.
Not many wickets for Yorkshire today, and Sam Cooke will be hoping that a change is not going to come during this final over of the day.
Terrible.
Here's Hill, driven square by Cooke, and there is no run. Are you going to be twisting the night away tonight? Perhaps stoppers?
No. I'll be I'm hopelessly devoted to my job. I'll be in bed early.
Okay.
It's either that
Very
or send in the clowns.
Cooke shouldering arms to another Hill delivery, and if you're an Essex fan, I suppose today you'll be feeling it's a wonderful world.
Oh, it is.
Having lost the 3, being put into bat this morning.
I shall get home, have a nice bit of food and tucker, and then I'll be attempting the stairway to heaven.
I think we better leave that one there.
He's getting on quite a bit.
The road is long.
Penny says hopefully a change is going to come tomorrow. There's a bit of discussion
Now
before.
we could go down the Pink Floyd route of changes. If she wanted changes.
Changes, yeah. We're talk about dragging out the last ball of the day. We're going to have a major discussion about what we're going to do with this.
Yeah, he'll probably bowl outside or down the leg side. Yeah,
Hill to Cooke, shouldering arms, and
lovely.
that will be that for the day.
Well, it's been an intriguing day. It's been a slowish day, but it has to be said it's going to be Essex's day, Jonathan. I mean, it all started so rosy and so good this morning, winning the toss, taking a wicket third ball. It was all looking so good first up, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, with the green tinge and the fact that there was reported to have been some moisture around, some rain around yesterday. You can understand the decision. You also look at the Yorkshire bowling lineup and think if they don't take a few early wickets, then there's a lot of inexperience there. You think of George Hill and Matthew Revis at this level, and so if they don't have good days, if both of them don't have a good day, or if one of them doesn't, then that sort of weakens things to some extent. And yeah, I think they clearly missed today the rip and zip of a Harris Ralph, who's got bags of pace, and wouldn't have made a massive difference to him, the slow nature of the pitch, because he'd just be able to still get it through at a pace that's going to ask questions of a lot of batsmen. But he's not here, nor is Ben Code, of course. We thought he was going to be playing today, but we're trying to find out why he hasn't. And it's not the end of the world. There's still a match there to be won. 234 for 3. It's not a killer total. Have not gone out and whacked 350 on the first day. So there's that. That's credit to them for at least sticking in there. Stephen Patterson and Dominic Bess in particular, those two keeping it tight. Jordan Thompson's bowled, I think, as well today as he has so far this season. So no major problem there. But yeah. They've kept it reasonably tight, but they've just looked for a long time there that they couldn't.
It's been a difficult day for everyone. I think it's been quite difficult for the batsmen. Sir Alistair Cooke made 100 on a slow surface. It was hard work for him as well. I think Paul Waters played well for 89 after his 93 out last week. But in terms of the bowling, Dominic Bess I thought has bowled brilliantly. And the other note I would add is I think the second new ball you guys bowled quite nicely with. And I'd say Jordan Thompson bowled quite well for 5 or 6 overs with that second new ball.
And I think there were 3 catches dropped. Tom Wesley on 4, that cost 20 runs. Again, not the end of the world. Paul Walter obviously dropped on 12 and he's still costing.
Yeah.
And then Sir Alistair Cook was dropped by Harry Brook at first slip. He'll have been relieved, won't he, when only 4 runs later he went, so it didn't cost many in the end. So just one vital drop out of the 3 really, but you'd like to have taken them all, wouldn't you?
You would, because it brings confidence to the team. Or if you drop them, as we said earlier, if you have to keep taking 13 wickets to bowl a side out, you're chasing the game, but you're not in control of the game. If you've only got to get 10 wickets to take the innings or clean the opposition out, then you're going to be in the ascendancy. And that's quite important in any game of cricket you play, be it at club level or even professional level. But all will be resumed tomorrow. Thank you, Jonathan. From Glenn Speller, from Jonathan Doidge and myself, we are going to bid you a good night. And please join us again tomorrow. Thank you for listening.